All right, guys, I am here with ctrlaltquin. If you want to really quickly give everyone an introduction for those of us who don't already know you.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Quin. I'm a full-time streamer here on Twitch. I stream Monday through Friday and play various games. World of Warcraft. I play a lot of MMOs and FPS games, and I'm also a competitive Fortnite person. I'm a competitive Fortnite person.
I've tried my hand at Fortnite once or twice, and I'm so bad. At any point shoot games, my aim is terrible. I can't handle the pressure.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot right there. And there's so many, and then the mechanics are so different between them all.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you're gonna get like really good at it, you gotta like play one game and focus on that. And
yeah.
Like, studying.
You gotta put in time.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried. I will say, with the small amount that I've played Fortnite, I played on console first. I did PlayStation first, and then I went on to, like, when I built my PC, I did it on my computer, and I had a much easier time playing on computer than I did on console. I think my aiming is better with the mouse versus the joystick.
The controller, yeah. Oops, sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I started talking about video. I guess I started talking about competitive gaming, and I'm just like, yeah. I think that PC it's the way to go. Not to like be controversial or anything.
I feel like there's more like customization you can do too that way.
Yeah. And like even if you want to like play with a controller at the PC, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So like there's like all these levels.
Yeah, there's so much you can do. I mean, I had no idea, like the whole world of gaming was new to me when I came into streaming, actually. So when I started discovering all the different like mice, the computer mouse that you can get with all the buttons on it everywhere, that blew my mind. You can get ones with like little keyboards on it too, and
yes, like MMOs too.
Oh yeah,
just like there's so much.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to first welcome you to the podcast. We were actually talking before we, came on, guys. We were talking about how we've kind of crossed paths a little bit here and there. I saw you're also in, I think, Peyton's Discord as well.
Yes.
So I feel like that might be also one of the other times that I had crossed paths with you. And then Quinn was saying that you were talking about how you were starting with side quests right before it ended.
I love Peyton. Like I've been following Peyton for a while. I come to their community and stuff when they were streaming. They were gone for a bit, but like they're back now. And I saw you there, but then also the side quest stuff, because I got hired right before side quests got
I know, that made me so sad.
I was so ready. Like we were planning content and everything, and it was like boom. All right, no more side quests. And that was really sad. That was devastating to me. I'm like, darn it, I was like right there, like to be able to play games with all these awesome people like you, and Chelsea Bites, not Sage, like it was pretty devastating.
I know. I was like, I was so sad because I did one with A-Tray and one with Yellow Spoon Girl. Like I did two different things. So I just started meeting people, and then the pandemic happened. Like I was doing the Craftle with Yellow Spoon Girl when I got the email from my like college, actually, that they were shutting down all in-person operations. But I was so sad because there were so many really cool people that I was excited to get to hang out with and start to do stuff with, and oh my goodness. Which I would have loved to get to do stuff with you. But now we're doing something. We're doing it on our own time.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Or whatever Beyonce said.
Yeah. Someone in chat wanted to make sure that I tell you that your hair is beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm absolutely captivated. Like you work the red so well. You did I think you posted on Twitter like a variety of different colors, like hair colors and styles that you've done, and I just was you rock all of them. Like that is, what is it, versatility? Is that what I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. You can rock any hair color, and I'm envious.
Thank you. Yeah, I really like red. Red is like a really good thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't consider myself like a fiery person. I'm really chill. But when I wear red hair, I feel powerful.
Oh yeah. It's like when I put on, I've got like my Doc Marten boots. Like when I put them on, like I feel like I could do anything.
Yes. but they're like they hurt to break in.
Oh my
I have a
gosh.
pair of Docs and I wear them year round, but to break them in, it just
Oh yeah,
my shins, not my shins, my heel.
yeah.
My heel was just
Oh my gosh,
buffering.
yeah. Like it takes a really long time to break them in, but once you've gotten them, like they're my go-to boots. Yeah.
They're literally unstoppable.
Okay, so I have typically the questions that I start with are a little bit more geared towards streaming, just to get to know like your style and kind of how long you've been doing it, and then we kind of get into more questions about you, and again, you can answer whatever you feel comfortable with. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. And then chat will be asking, they have the ability to ask questions. I have a Discord channel where I can read them from, so whenever I get new ones that pop up, that I'll read those to you as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, so just starting, how long have you been streaming, and when did you start, and what brought you into it?
Okay, I've been streaming, it'll be 3 years. 3 years in August, the end of August.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened was I've worked in the gaming industry on and off, like freelancing, like working conventions, like doing booth stuff, for lack of a better term. This isn't a thing anymore, but like being a booth babe, or just like working and like trying to get people at cons to come and play the game. And I worked for lots of like developers and stuff, and I would do that on the side and go to cons and just work. And one time I was at the Acer party when the Predator, like the laptop, came out.
Okay, yeah.
And they were having a party for it, and showcasing games, and I was in the VIP section, and someone had shouted up at me from below, which sounds like really just like Game of Thronesy, like someone shouted up at me from like down in the anyways. So they're like, "Are you a streamer?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You should stream." And I was like, "Okay." And then that's when I started like looking into streaming and trying to piece it all together. And I started, I'm like, okay, if someone told me, a random stranger told me I should stream, and it was really hard. It's not that easy
to just jump into.
Yeah, there's a lot. So that's how I started. But then I started to build a community, and I met a lot of nice people, and I was having fun. And also, it's like, if you're going to be playing, for me, it was like, I'm going to be playing the games anyway, why not share it with people?
Yeah.
Like, why not just like have company? So I started streaming.
That's awesome. Yeah. How did you come up with your username?
So I've had the name ctrlaltquin on the internet since 2007. Because I've been on the internet for I'm old. So it's like, I don't know, like I feel like at some point in that time, I was like 17, there was like this website called Formspring where people could leave you anonymous like questions or messages, and there was some dude named Control Alt something who said something really racist and mean to me, and I replied to him, and it was like really snarky, and it was like all on Reddit, and everyone was like interacting with it, and I'm like, I'm gonna steal this person's name and make it my own.
Yes.
And I did, and I was like, I'm ctrlaltquin now, and that's how I got my username. Before that, I was Viva La Quin.
Okay, gotcha.
An awesome username.
Yeah. I love it. I was gonna say, I really like, I don't know, like the vibe, because it's also very, I mean, obviously like computery, but it's really fun. That's awesome. I particularly like the backstory of like, you claiming it, where it's like, yeah, it's mine now. Like, good for you. Yeah, good for you.
Like, we're super jerk to me, and I dragged you. Now I'm gonna steal your name.
Yes, it's just like the ending, like the mic drop, where it's like, all right, I'm out. Like, do you have a current favorite thing to stream?
Oh, that's hard. Right now, I'm in this stage of a lot of like solo story-based games. But a game that I play often on stream that I love to interact with people, like community game, would be like Overwatch.
Okay, yeah.
I love I love Overwatch so much, but I do not like the toxicness
Yeah.
of the broader Overwatch community. So when I do play that game, I'm playing with people that I know.
Gotcha.
And when we play together, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it is so fun to play that game with your friends and people that you know. Also, I live in a city. I don't know if you heard that, but there's like a little fire truck coming by.
I didn't pick up actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I get a lot of garbage truck sounds here, so. Oh, what was it? Oh, you were, last I heard, you were playing through Life is Strange. Did you finish it?
Oh my gosh. So last night I was gonna like wrap it all up, and I got to the dart to polarized that chapter, and I'm just
Okay.
like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. It was just too much.
Yeah.
was like, I don't know anymore, y'all, if I can do this. It's heavy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's really, that's one of the, I think that's the first time that I was genuinely surprised just by how much there was in that game. Like it starts out really, kind of like light and indie and quirky, and like, there's like a little bit of intense at the beginning, but as you get closer to the end, it's just so, oh my gosh. And like I like take on the emotions of the game too, and so that's what makes it even harder, because it's like if something bad happens in the game, I'm gonna feel bad for the rest of the day maybe.
Yeah, that's how I felt playing through that chapter. Like when I started it and I'm like in that chair and I was just like,
yeah, it's a lot.
Like, oh gosh. And I just had to quit on stream. I was like, sorry y'all, I can't do this. Like,
yeah,
a lot happens so quickly that it's just like traumatic, and it's like you're trying to process it and all this stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
I will finish it, but I'm probably not gonna finish it on stream. I might do it like on the end, like, but there's also games by the same folks that made Life is Strange that I want to play.
Yeah.
Did you finish 2? Are you playing 2 right now?
I finished 2. I'm like, without spoiling anything, obviously, the thing that was hard for me with 2, well, 1, I think the first one is so good in its own right. The second one, I noticed I feel like there can be a lot of filler in it. The storyline I enjoyed, and I love the characters. The other thing that I had an issue with was it's kind of topical. It was released in like 2018, so it centers around Sean and Daniel, 2 brothers, and they're Hispanic, and so a lot of the characters they interact with are just very racist, and it's a lot. I got really, really angry playing the game because watching characters do stuff that like I feel like is obviously still happening today, like seeing it and like living it as the character was just so, it made me so angry. And like I have a tendency, like in those situations, I get angry about it. So that's the thing that was hard for me about that game. I loved the characters, and obviously you want them to succeed, you want them to get past it and not have to deal with these bad people. But that's the thing that was hard for me in that kind of like emotional sponge kind of way, because I would hold on to it and I'd leave stream, I'd have a headache because I was so mad at the other characters.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And like I get the whole personifying that issue and like putting people in those shoes kind of thing, but at a certain point it felt a little like overkill of like, okay, we get it, the world is terrible, like there are terrible people.
It's like an educational thing, right? Especially for gamers and people who want to play these games that are like amazing award-winning games, like literally award-winning games. But when it's yourself that you can kind of see in these characters, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I felt that about the first one because of the mental health and trigger warning, like the suicidal stuff, like that was a lot to partake, but also not seeing someone that looked like me in those characters was also annoying. Like there was none of the main characters that were people of color, and I was just like, oh, this is weird. But also like the tone and the message and everything they were talking about, especially like the college life, they're like, oh, I get that. Like, yes, I've been here. I get that. This is messed up. Like all the there's a lot. That's a very intense subject for me. I agree. It was just one of those, like when you mentioned that, it made me think about how like
you know, like that whole story, the first one is all about like college life and stuff. And I feel like one of the biggest center points of the second one around, you know, the two Hispanic characters is like racism and it being unfair. And I get that, and I get that that's the world that we live in, but like I also want to play a story where like it's people of color as the main characters, and it's just other, I don't know, other things where you can escape into the game and you're not like confronted by, okay, yeah, we see this every day, this is literally life, I want to play a game, and I want to, like, there are other issues that I feel like you can also, it's kind of like a back and forth, because like there are people who need to see what it would be like to experience that, and I can see how it could be beneficial, but at the same time, for all the people who just want to be represented, I feel like it's kind of detrimental, because it's like, this is harmful. All you get. And you know, but yeah, that game, I got real heated.
Yeah, I might play that. I might jump into that next, or maybe go to what is it? Tell me why. Tell me why.
Oh,
I might try
that one. I enjoyed that one. It's a little bit less. I don't know. There's still like intensity to it, but I feel like it's slightly less so than Life is Strange 2. That one. I mean, it starts off, I mean, very intense, and it can be a lot. But there's also Before the Storm, which is
like the DLC or something like that takes place before.
Yeah, that one I recommend. I think it's a really, really solid DLC. It was really good. Really, really enjoyed it, and the way that it complemented, you know, that one, the first.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say just I'm gonna try with the second one, just be prepared, because it's a lot.
All right.
Sorry, that was a whole side tangent.
No, cool. No, I love I love it. I love talking about games.
I guess back to like streaming and stuff. With your streaming, do you have any favorite stream memories from your time? You know, about approaching 3 years. Anything that stands out?
Wow. I'm very lucky, because I've gotten to do a lot of cool stuff related to streaming over the past 3 years. Like being on the front page like often, and just meeting lots of amazing people, and being on panels, and like just educating folks on lots of things, not even things necessarily related to trauma that I may experience in my identity, but like related to games. And that's cool. But one of the most awesome things, okay, so let me rewind real quick in my brain. Every February, I raise money for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society.
Okay.
Back in 2011, my brother passed away. He had lymphoma, and he was 24. And you know, our thing was like, we're gonna get on G4. We're gonna be like the black kids on G4. We're gonna do all this stuff growing up and be in the gaming industry and all these things. So when that was stolen from him, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get here and do this. And I started streaming, or that's when I started working and doing cons and stuff on the side, while also holding down my job outside of streaming. So yeah, I have a job, and I also stream. Anyways, so this is important to me. So when I started streaming, I was like, you know what, every February, my brother's birthday week, we're gonna do a charity stream and raise money for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. And this past year was the first time that we met our donation goal in the first like 3 hours. Like, even before I started the stream. And I think it was like our original goal was like $1,000. I think we wound up with like 3,000 or something like that. Oh my God,
that's amazing.
And it was like in a week. And that was really cool. And then Tiltify was in my chat like, yes, let's go. And Tiltify was like there cheering me on, and like all these people came through. That was like, I cried the entire time.
Yeah.
That was like the best streaming moment I ever had, because like, yeah, we get to get here and like play games and have fun and do things that are passionate to us, but also understanding like your reach and the things that you can do and change and affect in the world as a streamer, as an influencer, is so important. And I felt like, whoa, I am not just sitting here playing games. I have this power, this platform to do good, and that it literally changed my life. So yeah, that's my
Yeah,
moment.
that's so amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I can only imagine, and I feel like just not everybody thinks about like using their platform to do good and to make a difference. And the fact that you do is obvious. It's so important. And so that's amazing. And I love the story behind that as well. Like, I feel like it's such a beautiful tribute.
And I'll do it every year.
I
Like
love
that
it.
legacy and helping people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow. It's like one of those, like, obviously, you know, like there's like sadness to it, but the way that you've transformed it into something so beautiful and so like helpful is just very inspiring. Oh wow, you're such an amazing person. I'm sorry, like I the more that I get to know you, the more that I just appreciate
No.
everything that you are and what you contribute to, you know, those around you.
Thank you. I don't want to cry today.
It's okay. It's all right. Moving on. What is the hardest part about streaming to you?
The hardest part about streaming is, for me, I would say, is like technical difficulties. Oh my gosh, technical difficulties. Like, I could be in like the best mood, right? Get everything set up. I'm pretty sure you will relate to this. Like, you have everything ready and you're like, "Lay, let's go." You test everything and you go live, and there's like, "Oh, you're too low," or "Your audio sounds crunchy," or this and that. And then like having like, you want to fix it because you don't want to end your stream, but as soon as someone tells me that like something sounds crunchy or off after I spent so much time
Yep.
trying to like get it like prepared, it's like, oh, come on. You can't control that stuff either.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. So it's like, I'll troubleshoot live, but it's still like, then my mood is still, I'm still paranoid. Like, are they just saying this to me because they see that I'm like getting anxious about my like,
Yeah.
I hate technical difficulties. And it's, for a lot of us, you know, streaming and our setups, we are running a broadcast station. It's like the news. Like, if you were to go to your local news station, we got these mixers, we got the stream decks, we got all these levels and all this stuff, and we're doing it by ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's the
A
other
lot
thing.
of folks are doing it by themselves, so it's like, it's very overwhelming, and the lights and everything.
Yeah.
And if you're using green screen, don't even, like, I have a green screen and I will use it sometimes, but just to get the lighting right and everything so my green screen doesn't look crunchy if I'm going to use it, is there's so much off camera stuff that folks have to do to set up.
Oh yeah.
So definitely technical difficulties are the worst part about streaming.
Oh, for sure. It's like, you think about like a news station, like you're talking like a broadcast station, but the thing is, they have people to do each individual, you know, like there's someone on sound, there's someone on video, there's someone to make sure, and then the broadcaster just shows up and like does their thing. But when you're a streamer, you do all of it, and you're trying to entertain while also fixing whatever's going wrong at the moment.
Yes. So it's like, you're the talent, you're the sound engineer, you're the cameraman, you're everything. And it can get really, really complicated and stressful. Like,
oh yeah. Streamers are very, very multi-talented. They have to be, in order to, you know, in order to do all of it and focus on all of it at the same time. It's a skill. It's a skill. People who say that, my sister, when I first started streaming, gave me crap. She's like, "You don't even do anything. You just sit there and talk to people." And I'm like, no. You try to sit in front of one, try to just sit there and entertain people, but two, sit there, entertain people, and make sure everything goes right. But, and then also, I feel like as a streamer, people, or as an audience member, people don't understand that a lot of work goes into stream outside of just when we're live.
Yes. That whole thing about just sitting there, when I first started streaming, that's what I thought it was, because I didn't know. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna play my game, turn on the camera, sit here, and then boom, there's gonna be a bunch of people like hanging out and watching me play my game, and all I have to do is like talk about what I'm doing, and it's gonna be awesome. Or ask people. No, it's not like that at all. It is not like that at all. And I started streaming from like a PlayStation 4, I started streaming from a console, and then it was just like, what are overlays? What are alerts? What are
Yeah.
these engagement things?
Like all the learning curves of like you have to learn the language of it and how, you know, when I started streaming, I didn't know what Twitch was really. Like I had it suggested to me. And so I remember someone's like, "Oh, like do you have any mods?" And I'm like, "What's a
What are
mod?"
mods?
Like what is
Yeah.
that? You know, and all the different little things that go into like bringing a stream together. It's like learning. I felt like I had to learn a new language almost, because I had to learn like, you know, the lingo and slang of Twitch, but then also, you know, all the different components, you know, like you said, like overlays and the different ways to get people
Yeah.
engaged.
I remember someone saying when I first started streaming, one of my friends was like, "Yo, we got to get you some bots." And I'm just like, bots? Like, you know, the automatic, like, follow my socials here, like things that like stream elements. And I was like, I didn't know what that meant. Like, we gotta get you. I gotta get some bots. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how do I do that? Like, how do I anything?
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. It's one of those that it's funny because like for someone who's been around the you know site long enough, like they know like these things. You're like, oh, you got to do this, but if you have no idea what they're talking about, you're like, is that a thing that I can do? Like I don't.
Yeah.
What, huh? But it's also kind of cool then when you look back on how much you've learned and how much you've grown, like just even knowledge wise. Like it's, you know, kind of like a niche thing to know, but like it's a whole, you know, it's stuff that you could absolutely transfer into other areas. So it's kind of cool. Let's see. Oh, so is there anything that you have wanted to start streaming that you either, you know, don't know how to go about starting or are afraid to try?
Yeah, actually, I want to get into dancing. It's like really off the wall, but like I have this like huge green screen, and then I have like a cloth green screen. And what I want to do, or what I'm trying to work on, is like or for raids and things like that, I want to be able to like move over there and start dancing and have a whole scene set up for that.
Yeah.
But also, I'd be able to use that for VR. So I want to do
Okay.
VR stuff. And like, but that is so complicated.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like setting up those scenes and all of that. There's so much you have to do. And it's like multi-camera setup.
Yeah.
It hurts my head. And every time that I'm like, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna learn how to set up a green screen dancing side of my room so I can like exercise or play ring fit and do things that are like more like not me just sitting in a chair, but me standing up and like actually physically moving and things like that. And it's so hard, but VR would be a huge thing because I want to be able to like be walking and stuff, and everyone can see my interactions while playing with the game. So we'll see if we'll get there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's always there's always like, I feel like every streamer has like that project of like, all right, if I can figure out how to get this to work, this will be really cool, you know? But then it's like, you got to look into all the different little, and I feel like it's also hard because some people, I guess, naturally within their stream space have a lot of space to like, okay, like here's me sitting, but then there's also room to be standing like right in the same area.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case. And sometimes you've got to adjust everything and move everything, and a little bit of a hassle.
Like that space part. Like I have the space. I have the tools, but finding the time is hard when you like work a job and like all these other things outside of the streaming space. Like finding the time is rough.
Oh yeah, it's one of those like, because you've got to find the time, but then you also have to have the energy, because sometimes after doing everything you have the time, but you need the time to just exist and just be your you know, just exist in a space where you don't have to worry about doing anything.
Yeah. And when I have the free time, I want to play games for enjoyment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that I'm not enjoying myself when I'm playing games on stream, but it's really nice sometimes. It's important for me, especially for my mental health, to be able to play games with my friends and stuff off stream and just like play the games that I wouldn't normally stream. Like World of Warcraft is a huge important game to me. I love WoW. I love to play WoW. That's my my camera died.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. It's happening. It's happening.
It's the void.
Oh no. Didn't I just talk about technical difficulties?
Speaking of technical difficulties.
Speaking of technical difficulties, my camera just died. I don't know why. But yeah, just that whole like I just want to play games sometimes, just like off stream by myself with
I feel like,
friends.
yeah, like it's nice to not have to be on, you know. And I feel like even people who, because everybody says, you know, streamers are personas, and like I disagree in that I feel like you can still be yourself and be a streamer. Maybe it's a more elevated version of your personality, like you're a little bit more engaged, like purposefully engaged, I guess. But I feel like it's nice to just be able to play a game and not have to worry about like, am I being entertaining to people, you know?
Yeah,
and just play it and just, you know, enjoy the game without having to worry about anything else in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I kind of felt that with Life is Strange. I'm just like, oh, I don't think I can finish this live because this isn't entertaining. My sadness, I don't want my sadness to be, or my trauma to be entertaining.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let me just not finish this here.
Oh yeah. I've had a strange array of people. I remember having someone come through my stream and they'd been there a couple of times, and I was talking about something and I was like, I'm not going to talk about this because I'll cry. And they're like, no, talk about it. I want to see you cry. It's psychologically fascinating. And I was like, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
My emotional, like me being emotionally distraught is not like, I'm not here for you to study. Like that's, and like generally, like I don't mind being open. Like that's kind of my, you know, my thing. Like I try to be as open as possible. But like, you know, when I say like, hey, this is not something I want to talk about, people should not continue to press.
Respect it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which can be.
There's a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are some people who really do benefit and grow off of people's trauma. And that is extremely disrespectful. And I am trying to separate myself from that. For it's like, I want people to interact with me and hang out with me or play games with me or talk to me, not because of my pain. And when I am collaborating, like, let's cry, like, yo, let's talk. No, I refuse to do that anymore. But it's not like I was like voluntarily doing that before. It's just I didn't see that sort of stuff before.
Yeah.
And I feel like as being a figurehead on streamer Twitter, which I do not recommend going there, is I always find myself people just like adding me or wanting to like have me talk about my pain, and that's exhausting.
Yeah, that's not.
It's like super heckin' exhausting. There's more to me than just my identity.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things where people are like, oh yeah, well, like educate me, and like, no, there's many other resources.
There's Google.
Yeah, there are so many other resources. It is not a traumatized person's responsibility to share that with you. That if they decide to, that's the, you know, they've decided to, and that should be respected. But not everyone should be expected to, because it's not okay for everyone to have to do that, because not only just, I mean, reliving it, having to share it like that is not something that, you know, everybody's comfortable with. And I don't know, I have a whole issue with that, where I'm like, don't just reach out to someone who you know has been through shit to ask them to share it. Like, this information exists elsewhere.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Yeah, and it's like, value people outside of that. That's not their only contribution, you know, that's not the only thing they have to contribute. There's so much more.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Believe it or not, this is like, I think the third time, like the third guest that this has happened with. So you're not the only person who this has happened to.
Wild. I don't know why it keeps happening.
Technical difficulties. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We roll with it.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you have any future goals or things that you'd like to do moving forward with your stream?
Outside of the green screen stuff, I don't really know. I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know. Like I like where I'm at now. You know, and I'm not in a race, or not a race. That's wrong verbiage. I don't want to say that. Like, I don't care about being Twitch partnered. Like, I am able, like, we live in a time where it's like impact over numbers. over check marks, over all this stuff. Like you can have so much reach and do so much things, awesome, cool things. And I feel like I'm the poster child for something like that. And also it kind of like it boxes you in certain things. So I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I'm having a good time. Like I feel good. I feel great. I love this space that I'm in and I'm happy.
Yeah.
As far as like if I were to pick I really want to do more YouTube. No, I want to do TikTok stuff. I love TikTok. I'm so obsessed. I scroll all the time with TikTok and I'm in cringe talk because I'm a cringy person. And like I just love I'm also in like
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. I'm in elderly TikTok. So there's like a lot of weird. There's like a lot of old people on my TikTok. That was like perfect timing. What's happening? I'm in cringe talk, girl.
I'm just trying to get more into it. I didn't understand it for the longest time, and so I just kind of avoided it. But also I know that I will scroll on it for hours. So I'd kind of avoided it, and I've started to get more into it, and it's one of those I'll find myself scrolling forever because I forget about anything else that I need to do, and I'm like, oh, just one more, and then it never stops.
Or like, do you save things and think like, oh, I'm gonna make this?
Yep.
When I get the time, I'm gonna make my own version of this, and then once you like I will like start to do it and record it, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, this isn't for me, never mind. I can never post it.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm like, oh, this is such a great idea, and then like when I go to actually try to put it together, I'm like, oh no, like I don't think I have a handle on this.
One of the awesome things about TikTok that I admire and love is that there's so many people on there. You can see like little pockets of their life, and they're just being human. And there's no other platform that exists like that where no one gives a crap. They're just like doing what they want to do.
Yeah, and they're just being them.
Yes, and I'm like, look at how pure this space is, where people are just doing their own thing. I feel like I might have to switch cameras if it dies again, but I can easily do that.
Okay, yeah, no worries. It's all right. Yeah, cameras are tricky. Technology. Technical difficulty.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
Let's see. So what do you feel like your strong suit is personally with streaming?
My strong suit? I would feel or say that I'm consistently the same person because I don't pretend to be someone else when I'm here and sitting in this chair. And when the camera goes on, when the camera goes off, I am always the same person. And like that consistency and just being yourself is definitely a strength in this space. Like I don't get tired. I don't get exhausted or any of that when it comes to streaming because I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you come at it with an authenticity that not everybody does.
Okay. Let me switch this real quick.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Like I said, it's happened before. Ooh, we get to see more of the room too.
Yeah, it's like straight on, but it's not adjusted for streaming, so I might change colors because of auto.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's all right. We can see your beautiful face. That's all that matters.
This is authentic. Yeah, I'm a human being. Shit breaks.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and that's honestly, I think that's so important because I feel like there's so many carefully curated personalities out there that to see someone who's just themselves is so refreshing, and it's so nice. Like that's kind of, I know when I'm looking for streamers to go spend time, in their communities or spend time watching, like, I want to hang out with someone who's a person, not what they think that I want to see.
Yeah. That's like another huge thing that I talk about is being a streamer isn't a personality trait. Being a streamer is not a personality trait. You're a human being who happens to stream. Being yourself or bringing who you are to this space is where you find real joy, but also success because you're providing something different. You don't try and be a streamer. just be yourself. And I think that's like what people mean when they're like, oh, you be yourself, that's how you're gonna grow. But like breaking that down, it's like, hey chat, what's up guys, hey y'all, like that sort of verbiage that's like so unoriginal and like pretending to be anything but human is a weird vibe. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like,
I'm not a professional or anything.
yeah, I don't know. It's like the certain like polished, like, yeah, my thing is like, you know, everyone's gonna do their own thing and like more power to them, but like I have a hard time with like the very like polished personalities. I'm like, how do you sustain that? I feel like that would get so exhausting. And I don't know, to me it's like I want to hang out with people on my stream who are like myself in some ways, you know, like I want to hang out with people. And I feel like that's also a way to build a community that you're happy with, is like just to be yourself, because you end up with people who, you know, you draw in the people that you it's the idea that like you receive the energy that you send out into the world kind of thing. And
yeah, and some people will just be like, well, all of this is fake, all this is the internet, it's fake, and this space is fake. And I'm like, that's not true.
I think people just hate to see authenticity so much because they're afraid to be authentic themselves.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so true. So people who are authentic and breaking that mold don't get that much visibility because they're the ones who are stepping out of the line.
Yeah. And people, it can be uncomfortable, I feel like, for people because it's that idea that sometimes you're not aware of it at the time. You're not aware that you're not being fully your authentic self. And then you see someone doing it without shame, just being who they are and enjoying being who they are. And it's that like that envy or resentment that comes up, and you can't always place it. But a lot of times it's because that's something that you want that you don't have or don't know how to do. And
yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's just like, it reminds me of like being in high school, being a female, like the amount of resentment between female friends because of jealousies that we didn't necessarily know about, like insane. And I think it's one of those like, for one, people need to know how to inventory their emotions. Like that's at a base level. Because I think one of the most beneficial things that I learned actually from therapy was just being aware of like, why do I feel this way? Where did it come from? So that I can know like, okay, this is why I feel angry here, or this is why this, and it allows you to, I don't know, just understand what's coming from inside versus coming from outside.
Yeah, there's been some times where I've noticed that sort of behavior from other people, and I just don't engage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I just don't engage. Yeah.
It's like people coming through chat saying like, just like their dumb little copy pasta or whatever, or their dumb little things that are like meant to make you feel bad. Like usually what I get on stream is people trying to, I don't know, undermine my femininity and be like, oh, like you're a girl, I thought that you were a guy, or like stuff like that. And I'm like, so what if I was like, that doesn't make me
yeah,
like that's a bad attempt at an insult.
That's so
like
weird. And
it's mostly it frustrates me like because of the ignorance, but then beyond that I'm like, they're sad and they're looking for someone else to be sad. Like they want to they're trying to just project their pain onto other people, and at the end of the day I feel sad because that seems to be all they have as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, something that I got a lot when I first started streaming was that I was too much, that I was too real, or that I was too like, sometimes like I was too vulgar or things like that from some of the jokes that I would make. And they're like, you can't do that if you want to grow. Look at me now. And like a lot of those people who said those sort of things to me don't even stream anymore. But also, with that said, there's people who don't look like me, who may or may not be like white males or like in this streaming space, who have more privilege, who say worse things. Not that I'm saying things that are awful at all, but just like saying things that are what I'm saying, or just even more off the wall.
It's like they get a
who
pass.
Are successful, but for some reason, me and how I look and who I am, I have to just stay in this line. That's that whole, there's just so much there.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many like unspoken rules where they're like, you know, and people are like trying to dictate, where they're like, oh, someone came into my chat and told me that I talk too much. I was in just chatting at the time too. I was like, what do you want me to do? Just stare at the camera? Like they're gonna find a problem with everything.
Everything you say, they will always find a reason to like undermine you and try to make you feel bad because they can't do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just continuing to be yourself is the best way to get back at them, because it's like, no, like I'm myself and look at me, I'm doing fine, like don't worry about me, I don't need your advice.
I have some technical difficulties at sometimes, but I'm popping off.
Yeah.
And you're popping down. I don't know.
I understood the mentality there. I have so many moments like that too, where I'm like, I have something and I'm like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I have no idea how to say it. You just keep going, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of all, I guess, mainly the stream questions that I have for you. So the next question that I have, it's a lot of times people don't really know exactly what to do with it. It's kind of, it seems like a broad question, but you can answer it kind of as broadly or specifically as you'd like. But the question is, what's your story?
My story.
Yeah.
This is the story of a girl. My story. Well, I kind of talked about that earlier about, so just like as a person of color, like me and my brother, like grew up playing video games. We wanted to, like, I just played lots of video games growing up, and I was like so fascinated with G4. I grew up watching that when it was like on the air, and I was just like, man, I want to be like Adam Sessler. Like I want to do that. I want someone like me that looks like me to be there. And that was like me and my brother's dream. And then like we would just record all these like little things with our video cameras, and we would like have tape recorders and like do game reviews on our tape recorders. And then the internet came along. Not like the internet was already existing when I was a kid, but when it was reachable for people in poverty. Like I didn't get my first computer until I was like 14, and that was 2005. So when we got a computer, then I started putting stuff on YouTube, and we just started trying to figure out like how do we stream our games before stream was a word, but how do we share our gameplay and all our funny moments? How do we do this? How do we make our own G4? How do we make this space for people who don't look like us? And then like my brother got sick, and then that's when everything got derailed. So like he got sick in like 2007, and then he passed away in 2011. So that whole period right there, I was still like in high school and also trying to survive, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with like about college and life and moving out and all this stuff. And then when my brother passed, like I was just like, okay, I need to do this. I need to play this game. I need to play these games. I need to stream. I need to get into this space. I need to work cons. And I did. And I am. Like I started working cons, just trying to like climb and learn about this space and make it for him and make it for me, but make it for all these other people just like me who may not have, like, you know how many kids want to stream and play games and like have this idea, but they don't even have like the financial means to even get started. Like when I tell people that I didn't get the internet or a computer until I was like 15 or like 14, and that like 2005, I was just like, no, they're like, what, really? I'm like, yes, really. Yes, really. So yeah, and I just kept going. I started streaming after like it's so funny because there's another part of this story. I went to PAX East in 2013, and I was at the Twitch PAX East party in the VIP section before I even knew what Twitch was. Like that's how deep in it I have been for like the past like 15 years. And anyways, so yeah, so I started streaming and just keep doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it because it makes me feel good, and I feel like I'm living a dream. And honestly, Twitch has given this space for lots of people. No matter how many viewers you have, you can just do what makes you feel good. Don't focus on all the other stuff. If you're happy and it feels good to you, keep doing it. If it doesn't, if it makes you miserable or stresses you out, then stop. And at this point, the only thing that really stresses me out is technical difficulties. So I feel like I was kind of meant to be in this space, and it feels good to me.
Yeah, I agree. someone in chat said, wow, the strength that must have taken. Just, I don't know, you are such a radiant human, and you're insanely strong, and I just really appreciate you, and like I'm just so glad that I get to spend time with you, and thank you so much for sharing your story. It's such a beautiful story, and I really, really appreciate getting to hear it and your willingness to share it.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's super cool, and I feel like you have an attitude about streaming that is so important that I feel like so many people miss, because so many people put all the pressure of like, well, no, I have to be the best, I have to do this, I have to, and I feel like you hit the nail on the head. You got to enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, why like why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? Yeah. Life is way too short for you to focus on or do things that make you miserable.
Yeah.
Analyze it. Like, why is this making me feel off? Why I don't feel good? Like, change it if you can before you run out of time, because we're all going to run out of time, and that sounds really dark, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the hecking truth. So
I noticed that you've got a lot of Star Wars stuff behind you. Just a little bit. So I'm not very well versed in Star Wars, unfortunately, because when I was a child, one of my friends had a birthday party where we watched one of the movies in the theaters, and I was traumatized as a kid, just like a little bit it was Darth Vader getting like burnt. I think it was and as a kid,
Revenge of the Sith.
As a kid, it scared me so much that I need to, like, I've been planning on it for a while now that I can binge them all on Disney Plus. Like, I want to watch all of them. So for someone who knows nothing about Star Wars, what would you, I guess, I mean, and you can describe it from whatever perspective, but what is, I don't know, I guess what is the best part about it to you, whether it be the fandom, the movies, the all the stuff outside of it?
Okay, now this might be the part where I cry. This might be the part where I start crying. Star Wars is a huge part of my life, clearly, but the part that I love about it the most is the universe, that it, like, the galaxy itself, and the galaxy is so far away. Like, that is the part that I enjoy. I don't like, there's a lot of toxic stuff related to Star Wars that I don't really Star Wars can be very toxic, and I don't have really favorites or anything. I don't like to do all that, like, ranking or all that. I just love, like, look at this universe that was created where there's like endless possibilities, and I think that's what I love the most about Star Wars. I like episode 1. I like Jar Jar. I think Jar Jar is like a dope character. People may disagree with me about that, but that's okay. You can disagree, you can have your vibe, I can have my vibe, but I feel like Star Wars gets to this point in the fandom where people are just constantly trying to undermine other people's opinions and what they feel. But I'm like, yo, we're just a bunch of nerds who like this one thing, and look at that. That's so cool. So yeah, Star Wars week is next week.
I saw you tweeted about that, so I was like, what is Star Wars week? I have no idea.
So May the 4th.
Oh,
May the 4th.
Okay.
May the 4th be with you. That's next week. So
gotcha.
All next week people will be talking about Star Wars. I've been mentally preparing myself for it since it ended last year and the year before, like, because it gets really overwhelming. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a charity stream all next week.
Oh, nice.
So Star Wars I have Star Wars tattoos. Like,
oh,
that's
nice.
How serious I am about Star Wars. I have a lot of Star Wars tats.
Are you in California?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay, gotcha. Have you are you planning on ever at some point going to either the, I guess, like Disney World or Disneyland?
The Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
one day I'm gonna go soon, but I was at Star Wars Celebration, the last one that was in Chicago, so that was like 2 years ago, right before the pandemic started, so the year before the pandemic started. And that was before Galaxy's Edge was live and open, so I was able to like sit in like the rides and stuff, because they had like these models of it at Star
Oh,
Wars Celebration.
that's
But
cool.
I haven't been able to get there yet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
I mean, pandemic has definitely made it a little difficult. Um,
hmm
but yeah, I mean, even me not having like I mean, I'm gonna watch that. It like I've gotten enough crap from people in my own streams now that I was like, I have to sit down and like I want to. Like I love fantasy and I love, you know, like sci-fi. Like when I was younger, I watched a lot of Doctor Who, which, you know, sci-fi galaxies, not the same, obviously, um, but just from what I've heard, the environments that they've set up and how immersive they've made it, I feel like would be such a cool experience, especially
do
when
you
you
like
know.
Star Trek?
I haven't actually seen Star Trek.
Okay, I haven't really either. Like Star Wars is just like you said, it's fantasy. It's like fantasy, sci-fi, opera. Like there's a lot of it and that doesn't make sense. But I feel like one of the things that Star Wars nerds try to do that undermine other people's opinions and just can't appreciate the art and like the world for what it is they try to make sense of these things that aren't supposed to make sense because it's not Star Trek. Like Star Trek, there's lots of science
Yeah.
based logic. In Star Wars, a woman literally died because she cried. Like it was just there's a lot of weird I can't say anything without spoilers. But there's a lot of things in there just don't like okay, like it's supposed to be dramatic.
Yeah.
It's so but they're like the acting is bad. I'm like, yeah, because it's like a soap opera. It's supposed to be bad.
Yeah, it's like I feel like sometimes people can't let it go enough to just like enjoy what it
Mhm.
is. Like when you
Yep.
try to make it out to be like a I don't know, like a Meryl Streep Oscar nominated whatever. Like you
Yes,
can't compare it to like
yes.
that kind of stuff. You've got to enjoy it. It's like watching old movies kind of thing. I mean, and you know, some of the Star Wars are not like old, but a little bit older now. You have to appreciate like, especially in the time too, like what they were doing like with like special effects and stuff of like that time though. Like when you go back to think about like, wow, like this would be really, you know, what an experience it would be to see it at the time that it came
Yeah.
out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's huge. Like people just don't they want it to be something that they don't know what it is and they're not enjoying. Like if this didn't exist, you wouldn't even be like crying over or being disappointed. Like I don't know. It's supposed to be I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Star Wars is sensitive for me.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and I feel like just like with any kind of like fandom or I guess pop culture phenomenon, I guess, like there's going to be people who try to gatekeep and say like,
Yep.
oh well, like this isn't, you know, you're not a real fan because of X, Y, and Z, and like
Because you this and blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like with video games, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping too. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of people who gate kept me when I was a kid and growing up and stuff and gaming and in Star Wars that aren't here anymore. So
Yeah. Just
not like they're dead, but they're just
yeah.
not in this space. Or
Yeah,
they just
it's
let
like
it
you
go.
just gotta
Like I
enjoy
grew
it.
up. Like, did you grow up or did you just
yeah.
give up?
Did you grow up or did you give up? It's like the Oprah meme, were you silent or were you silenced? Did you grow up or did you give up?
Yes.
I love that. So with all that stuff that you've got, all of the like, I don't know, all of it looks really cool. Do you have any particular favorite things of like, I guess pieces of Star Wars merchandise or anything that you own that you'd say is, you know, maybe more sentimental, or could you pick a favorite?
Favorite? I have so much. All right. So I don't know where it is behind me, but I have like a 3D printed melted Darth Vader skull, kind of like
Okay.
uh you haven't seen The Force Awakens. So are you aware who Kylo Ren is?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kylo Ren is Darth Vader's grandson,
Okay.
and Kylo Ren is obsessed with his grandfather, who was heckin' evil. And I mean, he does get saved at some point. You know, there's a redemption arc somewhere in there, but he is still like so focused on just like this man was evil before he died. And in The Force Awakens, he has like this melted of like Darth Vader helmet, which was his grandfather, and she's like, I'm gonna finish what you started. And one of my viewers 3D printed it and sent it to me, and it's like right there.
That's insane.
So that's really cool. And then I also have like a 3D, I have like a few 3D printed lightsaber helms, but then I also have this.
Oh, I love that.
Which is cool.
Yeah,
it's like,
it just looks really cool.
It's like a combat lightsaber. So I used to do choreographed fights with a group called I can't say it because they'll probably dox me, but like personally dox. So we used to like choreograph fights and stuff like that between the ages of like 19 to 24. And we used to do like shows and charity events and like go to hospitals and visit sick kids and all that. And that lightsaber is meant for fighting. Like if I hit it against things, like
that's
it's
awesome.
solid plastic, like it's not gonna break. So yeah, I'm a nerd.
Oh my god, no, I love it. I love it. I feel like everybody to some degree has their own type of nerd. You know, everybody's a nerd for something. And I just, why hide it? It's so much fun, you know, like, and just like having stuff to be passionate about or excited about like that. I feel like it's what makes life more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So
let's see, I've got a lot of different like random questions that are meant to just kind of, you know, whatever conversation. Also, there's no like set, we have to do all of these kind of things. It's just like to hang out and get to know you better. So I'm just gonna pick one from the list. Let's see. If you could do, I like this one. If you could do anything, like if you could pick a job and that be your occupation, and it could be anything in the whole world, what would it be?
I think right now where my head is and what I really want to do is, because I have an HR background. So outside of streaming, I'm an HR professional and I've worked in HR roles for the past decade. So I would really like to take that HR knowledge that I have and apply it to the gaming and streaming space. Like I would really like to be something like a representative or a talent manager for streamers. To like kind of like ground them and give them like real world support when it comes to like benefits and taxes and all those things that kind of HR people do, or like even managing communities would be really cool for me, but like on a bigger behind the scenes scale, and not just going to Twitter community management, but just like, you know, there's lots of talent agencies and things like that streamers get signed to. I would really like to be the person behind the scenes that like mediated and helped them find opportunities and in a business aspect, like related to where they are regionally in the world. Like I think that would be really good for me. That would be like a dream job, and to be able to do that from home. Like it's just like trying to find a way to take my HR experience and like put that in a streaming space is hard. So
find a way to take what you know and what you're passionate about and kind of combine the two.
Combine them. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I feel like that's a really cool concept, because I feel like a lot of streamers don't necessarily understand the real world things that come together. Like I know when I started to approach my taxes this year, I was like, what am I doing? What works? What, you know, what? And then if you've got different, you know, different streams of revenue, figuring out that. And so I'm sure that something like that would be very, very helpful to streamers.
Yeah. That's what I want to do. And I don't know if there's any roles that exist like that right now. Like, unless you're like a big streamer, right? You might have like a manager or something who can like help you and walk through that. But just for like the everyday streamer, like it'd be really cool to like just have someone like help you. I don't know.
Just have someone, like, just at the very least to have someone in your corner like that. Like I feel like that could be such an important thing. For, like you mentioned, like the everyday streamer, like I don't know, even just for like, I feel like little things, just knowing that you've got someone that you can talk to if you need like you need advice or have a question kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
I
I
might
like
have
that.
to like make my own job. I might.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to create it, and we'll see how that goes. Check in with
Yeah.
me in a year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to. I hopefully we'll stay in contact and,
Yeah.
but that is yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like with how things are happening and how unique streaming is in itself too, like I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to kind of create your own area, like
Mhm.
combining things. Like my brother took like a psychology and a graphic design like major minor and combined psychology and graphic design, and it's one of those like you wouldn't have necessarily put the two together, but like you gotta sometimes make your own thing. And honestly, it's even more powerful because it is so unique.
Yeah. I went to school for psychology
Oh,
actually.
awesome.
So look how that's going.
Honestly, I feel like at a base level, psychology is just beneficial. Like, I feel like basics psychology, I feel the same way about like a basic theater class. I had a whole thing about that for one of my college theses or whatever. But basic psychology, I feel like is so beneficial to everyone because I feel like it helps you understand things a little bit clearer,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Man, I always say that, not man, but I'm just speaking like, improv. I think it's important for everyone to take an improv class
Yes.
at one point or another, even if you aren't like in acting or comedy or anything like that. But improv, just like the basics of it, can definitely help you just go, like relax and go with the flow a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's so important because I mean, one, that, but then two, also like the teamwork aspect of it. Like it teaches you to like
Hmm.
work with people in the moment, like as you're figuring things out together kind of thing. And it's the
Yeah.
idea of like the yes and. It's not like, no, this can't happen, we can't do it, shut
Yes.
down. It's like,
Yes. Yes.
okay, this happened, how do we handle it now? And
Yep.
it's such an important skill that I feel like, I mean, it's so it's weird because I can be very micromanaging to myself where I'm like I have to like have my list of like I need to get this done today and da da da. And I think that the little bits of like stuff that I've done through theater, it's also kind of helped me to like, okay, it happened, it's not the end of the world, we roll with it kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like it's such an important thing to learn just for any person, just to learn how to go with the flow and
Yep.
not
Go with the flow and just what's happening is already a part of your reality.
yeah.
So what do you need to do to make it more successful for everyone involved?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. I think one of my acting teachers said something about like, so this happened. So what? It happened. Now, now what do you do? Like, it's kind of like instead of letting it destroy everything, it's kind of like okay, so that just approach it with a little bit less fear, I guess.
Absolutely.
Also, this is a side note. I've been noticing. Are your walls purple?
Yes. Purple is my favorite color.
It's my favorite color as
So,
well. I was pretty sure that because I was like I just wanted to make sure it was like kind of purple or blue. You've got the blue light back there, so I wasn't 100%.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, my walls are purple. Purple is my favorite color. And then I have these lights that are like trimmed. And then there's like that's like a Millennium Falcon. There's a lot going on here. And I think that's why my camera, my Logitech is like
Oh
so
yeah.
be prepared
Oh
for
yeah.
this. I wasn't prepared for my DSLR to like just go poo poo.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they do that. Like I said, it's the third time that it's happened. Like it's happened with two other guests like on the podcast before.
maybe a Discord. I think it might be a Discord
It
thing.
could be, yeah. It's so no worries. I mean, and you had a backup plan, so like you
Yeah,
were
I
prepared.
have 3 cameras. I'm an extra.
It's okay. I
I
have
ain't show.
yeah. I think I have two. I have two webcams in my DSLR, so it's yeah. But I appreciate the purple walls. It's also my favorite color, so you have good taste.
Purple is the color of royalty.
Yes, it is. Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's see what other. Actually, let me just see. I know my mods put in some questions. They always have some fun questions. Oh, here's one. It's a classic. We ask everybody. When pouring a bowl of cereal, do you put the
Oh,
cereal
gosh.
or the milk first?
I put the milk first.
You put the milk first?
Yes, because I enjoy chaos and destruction.
I see. I see.
I like oatmeal, but I don't cook the oatmeal. So I just will pour milk and then I'll put the oatmeal on top of the milk so it's floating there. And then I eat that like that.
What? Wait, so you put milk
Yeah.
and then you put the oatmeal on top of it?
Yes, but I don't heat it up. I don't put it in the microwave or anything like that. No, I just eat it like that. Sometimes I'll put it in like one of those things like you decorate cakes with,
Yeah.
like the little funnel plastics, and I'll just squeeze it into my mouth.
Like oatmeal?
Yeah, the oatmeal milk combination.
Interesting. I've never heard that before. I mean, hey, you learn something new every day. Let's see. Oh, okay. So, one of my mods asked, what cons have you done? What's the last one you were at? And also, what's your favorite? I can relist the questions if you need them again.
Okay. So I've done Wizard World. Are you familiar with
I
that?
don't think so.
Wizard World is like a huge comic book convention, and they have one that's like in Philly, and they have one that's on the West Coast too. I've done that. I've worked those for several years. I've also worked PAX East several years in a row. I've worked Star Wars Celebration. I've worked a lot of local cons in my area. I've never done New York Comic Con, and actually that was like one of my goals for before the panini. And my favorite is definitely PAX East. Because I don't know, like PAX East is like there's like lots of board games and stuff. Like there's just so much going on related to gaming. Like it's not just video games, you know. And it actually started with board games and card games and tabletop stuff. And actually, right before the panini happened, PAX did like a PAX Unplugged, which takes place in Philly, and that's like, hey, we're going back to our roots. This is all tabletop. And I'm like, yeah, I love it. So I definitely love the Penny Arcade Expo. Like they're dope. So, and I love working them.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't ever been to a convention, and that was actually on my list of things to do. Like it was like kind of like a 2020 goal. I was like, I want to go to a convention just because I feel like it'd be so fun to just be around a bunch of other, other people with
Nerds.
similar. Yeah. Oh yeah, my people.
Your people is
Yeah.
so good. And even though it stinks, like even though some people don't put on deodorant and stuff, like it's still a vibe. It's still a time. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those that I'm like really excited about. Like getting back to. I feel like I'll always be a little bit nervous about. I feel after the pandemic, I feel like I'm gonna be so probably hyper aware of being around other people or being close to people or in a big group. But I want to go to a
The world is
convention.
just different now. Everything
Yeah.
has changed. Like I was thinking that too. I'm like, even though it might be like we got the okay, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be okay, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think it's also, yeah, I think part of it's like an anxiety. Also, after this, I'm like, I will not ever let anyone stand near me, like stand super close to my face while they talk to me ever again. I don't know why I let people do that before. Like germs existed before this. Get out of my face. Like
The last con I went to was Twitchcon. That was
okay.
So that would have been September
Was that
2019. Yeah, then the
almost went
panini
to that.
started.
I almost went to that.
It was cool. It was fun. But
Yeah,
that was the last thing I went to.
I regret not going because I had just started streaming at the time. I started 2019, like end of July 2019, and so I was like, I'm not like a part of it enough to be there. And I was like, I'll go 2020, and then I got ready to go 2020, started saving, and then pandemic. So I should have gone.
Dang. Well, next year.
Yeah, I was
Next
like,
year,
when it pops
hopefully. I
back
mean,
up.
this year. Maybe we'll see. I don't even know how I feel about going to cons this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I know things are getting like not normal, but like people are getting vaccinated and stuff. I still don't know.
Yeah, I'm almost this Saturday. I'm getting my second shot, and like I'm excited because like I want to go to like eat in a restaurant. My biggest thing, I want to get Korean barbecue like really desperately, really badly. But it's one of those like, yeah, technically it'll be okay. Like I will be like okay to do this stuff, but there's that part of me that feels like maybe I don't feel okay. I don't know. I think I'll always be, it'll be hard to not be a little bit hesitant about everything after all of it, you know? But hopefully stuff will come back because I want to go to a convention. I want to go to I went to, I think it was Outside Lands in 2019, like music festival in San Francisco, and it's all, you know, all outdoors in Golden Gate Park, so like trees everywhere. It's, you know, super beautiful, like a nice open field space. And but it's one of those that I'm like, oh, even if I can't, because I think they technically scheduled it, I was like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable going yet. Especially because I'm like, I don't know who am I around? What did they take care
how
of?
they feel? Yeah, exactly. How they feel about being vaccinated and how they feel about being out here. It's too much of a risk.
Oh yeah, I think that's the other thing that's hard is like, if I've learned anything, or if any point to me has been solidified during the pandemic, it's that people are selfish, you know, and they and it's a lot about like, well, it doesn't impact me, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't impact you, but there's a whole demographic of people it does, you know, and that's but it's okay. I'll find my fellow vaccinated friends, and we'll do nice like little things.
See, like I kind of wonder, like if cons start coming back and all that, if they will make people verify that they were vaccinated.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of kind of pushback about that. You know, people have been really upset. They're like, oh, like. Someone I saw on Twitter makes me upset. I need to like stop spending so much time on there sometimes because I see all the news that happens or all whatever's trending. And there were two people who were photographed they basically made what looked like a Star of David, and they put like COVID passport on it, basically comparing the requirement of a COVID vaccination to people in the Holocaust who had to wear a Star of David because it meant that they were Jewish, you know, like it's Then there are people like that. People like that blow my mind. I just how anyway, Twitter's bad for my mental health some days.
Twitter is bad for everyone's mental health, and I totally think that everyone should limit their time on it.
I think that was a hard, because I didn't use Twitter until I started streaming. So then I jumped into Twitter, and not only did I jump into Twitter, I jumped into streamer Twitter, and that was a whole other bag of worms that I was like, I don't like it here. Like, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's supportive, and it's nice. You know, you can find some good groups sometimes, but then sometimes it's just super toxic, and I just, you know. Yeah,
like I used Twitter before I started streaming, so my algorithm it's like HR Twitter, like HR professionals. Like there's so many friends that I have that I've met from Twitter that are HR professionals that live on the West Coast that I haven't been able to meet yet. So I'm in HR Twitter, I'm in gaming professionals like developers, and convention Twitter. So people who work the cons, not necessarily people who attend the cons. And then when I started streaming, then I got into streamer Twitter, and that's when I started muting people. I think the first time I ever started muting people was when I started streaming, and then I realized like, oh wow. The thing that always gets me about streaming Twitter in this space is like a lot of us play video games for a living, or it's a job or a career, like something that we're trying to get into. But there's a lot of people on it don't even talk about video games. Like a lot of people just talk about the act of streaming in itself, and that's always something that I come back to. Like streaming isn't a personality trait. It's something that you do. Who are you outside of doing this thing? And that's weird to me, but yeah, don't go to there. We don't go to Raven Home. We don't go to streamer Twitter or whatever. That's
oh my gosh. Yeah.
What is that? Half-Life 2? We don't go to Raven Home.
Let's see. So one of my mods also asked, can I ask what she worked at PAX East? He says he feels like he might have seen you there. He went to PAX East a decent amount. If you don't...
Which one? What year? So the last PAX that I went to was PAX East 2018. PAX East 2018. and I worked for Tiny Build, and I worked for Nintendo. So I worked the Tiny Build booth, and then I worked the Nintendo indie game booth that they had the section there. That's what I did.
Let's see. He says he's gone every year since like 2012 or 2013. He's a big PAX East guy. If you work Nintendo, there's a chance that he probably went by. He's a big Nintendo guy.
Yeah, the line was long. See, the thing about Nintendo, I worked in like the indie section of their booth, and the thing is, like, everyone sees that, and they're just like, everyone gets in line. There's hundreds of people in line just to play the games there. Nintendo. So that's what I did.
Yeah, that's super cool. I feel like it's also a fun way to get to, so is that something you apply to like you apply to work the booth there, or like how does that work?
It's super easy to get involved because before a con starts, unless you're registered and already on a list to be like any developer you want, you can sign up to be like a part of a booth, or you do that for people who are just like freelancing or moonlighting within the gaming industry, right? So you can either like get on the list and email them, hi Willie, or you could just follow people in the industry, and when it gets close to it, they'll be like, hey, we're looking for people to work this thing, reply now if you're going to be there, and then you can go. That's and work cool. for them. Yeah. And then you get to meet all those other people. Like, it's the ultimate form of networking, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And like you're doing so it's really easy to get involved like with the game.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It depends on like what you want to do. So yeah,
that's super fun.
My advice or tip.
Yeah.
Follow the right people. Mute. Follow game industry folks. Follow game developers. People within the industry. And mute all the people who are toxic and always talk about drama on Twitter Spaces, and like interact with those folks and really get to know them. And if that's how you want your career to go and you want to be involved in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know I am Hadriel. His name's Dom, but he's a big fan of games and stuff, and I think that would probably be something he'd be interested in doing. So you hear that's the advice.
Mute all the streamers.
Mute anyone who streams.
All the streamers, mute them right now, including me. Just kidding, don't.
I was gonna say you tweet good stuff. I like your Twitter.
I'm so insecure.
I can relate. That's what I think most days about myself. Oh my god. Oh, my other mod came in at the right moment. Just came in. OMG me. Relatable. It's relatable content. I feel like, it's probably a thing for my whole channel. I mean, we call ourselves trash. I mean, I said that I'm trash and this is my dumpster. So now we're all trash. And
you could literally go on Twitter and be like, hey, anyone ever eat bread? Same, me too. And then streamer Twitter would be like, oh my god, I eat bread, I love it. And then there will always be one person who's just like, but why does it have to be bread though?
Why not like I don't know, lettuce wrap?
Egg person. What am I talking about? Okay, I'm saying weird stuff that doesn't even make sense.
Oh my god, it's okay. It's okay. I do that all the time. So, but yeah, no, I feel that. Honestly, half the stuff that I see on my Twitter feed that's like blowing up, it's something like that where it's like, do you ever eat bread? Because same, and like it'll be like a million retweets, not a million, bread. Obviously, but I mean, I'm passionate about bread. I like bread. Probably
Bread's
too much.
Cool. I like bread.
I like baguettes. Yeah. I don't know. A little bit crunchy but soft.
Baguette. That reminds me of like Flight of the Conchords.
Oh my god.
Baguettes. Le boeuf. Sorry.
Oh my god. I think. Oh my god. That reminded me of something and I cannot remember for the life of me. It's like, I don't know. I'll remember it when it's like the least helpful to me. Croissants are dope. Croissants are dope. You eat bread, why not blended bread?
Blend the bread?
What? Willie, what?
What's that mean? That sounds like a makeup term or something.
Yeah, blend the bread. It's It's like a beauty blender, but it's like bread shaped. I could get behind that. I would use that. Listen. Oh my gosh. Once I had a loaf of bread and there was like mold on the loaf of bread, and so I like picked around the mold, and then I was talking to Chad about it later, and they're like, oh, that means that the mold is all inside the bread too. And so they told me that after the fact when I couldn't change it. It was a
Wait,
sad
really?
Yeah, apparently you can't just, if there's mold on the bread, it means that it's in the bread now, even if you like pick around the moldy spots. I don't know. I didn't realize it. I just thought that you could just she was good on penicillin. Okay, guys. All right. Because of the yeast.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I know, you learn something new every day. So another question that one of my mods have, what is your forever food? Like, if you could pick one food and you could only eat that for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. Okay, this isn't easy. Chicken wings, but they have to be boiled. So like I like this sounds gross, but I like boiling chicken wings, and when the skin gets all slimy, and I like to just like pull it off and like slurp it.
What? I am shook to my core right now. I have never heard of this before. Just the way that you described it as slimy, and then you slurp the chicken wing.
Yeah, it's so good. I like that. It's my favorite food.
I don't know how to process this information.
Am I getting banned right now?
And
why not blend the wings?
I mean, they're already slurpable. You don't need to blend them.
I love that. I could eat chicken wings every single day, boiled chicken wings.
Interesting. I would have never guessed. Like, I've just never heard of anyone eating chicken wings that way. I mean, hey, more power to you. And the fact that it was that, wait, yeah, actually, sorry, that's an important question. Do you season them?
No.
You don't?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I season them. I'll put I'll put various seasons on them and stuff. And I wouldn't even say it's like boiling. I would say it's more like a stewing them. So it's like I'll put them in water with some seasons, and then I'll boil it, like be boiling it, and then like when the water gets low, but there's no oil or anything like that.
Okay.
Like that's like my alternative to like frying food.
Okay.
And it still tastes good to me, and it's not crunchy, but I prefer sliminess over crunchiness.
That's the part that's the biggest part that I don't understand, because I like crunchiness. That's what I like when I have like a chicken wing. Like, I like the crunchiness of it. But the fact that you still like that there's seasoned, I'm just imagining like raw chicken boiled with no flavor. Which like
is good too.
Like, it's not like, yeah, I was gonna say in itself like isn't inherently bad. I just know that I could not eat that for the rest of my life without any. But I guess you could also, if you do the chicken, you could do various seasoning or no seasoning and variety.
Outside of that, another food that I really like that I could eat for the rest of my life is cheese fries. I love cheese fries with mozzarella cheese, though, not cheddar.
Okay, yeah.
That's my other favorite food.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that would be good too.
Boiled chicken wings and cheese fries. Forever.
I can 100% get behind the cheese fries. The boiled chicken wings, yes and no. Yes and no. Not super, not a ton so, but I have a little bit of like a texture thing, like sliminess for me. I get a little bit like, it's like how some people don't like boba just because of the texture. I mean, I like boba, but like some people don't like boba because of the texture of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and some people don't like tapioca or rice pudding. I like rice pudding. And like rice pudding is like one of those texture things too that people don't like.
It's also kind of weird though that like it could taste fine, but because of a texture thing, yeah.
Ooh, another good food is octopus.
Oh yeah, it's very chewy.
the taste of it, but I don't like the gummy texture.
Yeah.
I cannot do gumminess
Yeah.
with foods. That is a no for me. If I have to take too long chewing it, I don't want it.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I feel like at a certain point, like you just spend so long chewing it. I'm like, I don't want to eat it anymore. Like I'm just
It's
like tired.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah. What is the point of it? Oh my God. Also just reminder to everyone in chat, if you have any questions to ask, put your questions in chat. Gummy with things that were all other, what?
Chicken feet slaps.
I don't think I've ever had chicken feet.
It's really good. It's like, I don't know. There's not a lot of meat on it or anything like that, but it's a really nice compliment to certain dishes.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it's all about how you season it too. Because it's like, it doesn't matter what a meat is or something. If it's not seasoned or cooked properly, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that's another thing where sometimes people are like, oh, well, I don't like this kind of meat, but the only way that they ever had it was just not, there wasn't much else to it, or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I recently had duck for the first time, and it was, I mean, like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't, I don't know, I just was like not having a good time. I was not having a good time, and I was just like, okay. And everyone was like, no, it's all about how it's cooked or how you had it. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'll try it again in the future, maybe, but I wasn't having a good time eating duck.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the one thing, the whole like texture thing reminds me, so my grandma grew up in Japan. So when I was like after freshman year in high school, my family, we all went to visit together. And at one of the places, there was like, it was like some sort of snail, right? And it tasted fine, but it's one, it's snail. Two, texture, chewy. Like it tasted fine, and I ate it because I was like, I'd feel like bad not eating it. Like I want to, try things, but I was one of those like, I'm just gonna eat it quickly and then not think about it kind of thing. My sister ended up spitting it out. Just like, it didn't taste bad, but one, if you know what it is kind of thing.
Yeah, you can't get it out of your head.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, it's the slimy thing for me, like thinking about this snail that I'm eating, like
when I was eating the duck, I was kind of thinking that. I was just like, traffic. Did you hear that? Did you hear that motorcycle? Sorry.
I don't think it picked up, actually.
Oh, I think it's just like in my head. Maybe there's just motorcycles in my head. But anyways, no, when I was eating the duck, I couldn't get that one song out of my head, like, when a duck goes up to a lemonade stand. And I was just like thinking about that duck. I need grapes. I just couldn't eat it. And I just wish that I didn't know. I just wish that I didn't know that it was duck.
I feel like sometimes it's like, it would be easier to eat it if you didn't know what it is. Like,
it's like humans.
Were you alluding to eating people?
No.
Of course not.
Of course not. Not on my your Christian Minecraft.
Yeah,
stream.
not on my Christian Minecraft stream.
Have you had frog? Frog is good though.
I don't think I've actually ever had frog. I've heard it's really good. I've heard that it tastes really good.
It's gummy too.
Yeah.
All that bounciness,
Yeah.
Frog, the hoppiness.
Yeah, for me it's one of those, I don't think I could eat it knowing what it was. Because then I also feel like I'd feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, I mean, it's meat, right? Again, if you season it the right way and cook it the right way.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. I'm just checking questions. Oh, what was your favorite game when you were younger?
My favorite game when I was younger was... This is hard. This is hard. First of all, I'm still young, so like yesterday. Okay, no, that was a bad joke. I would say Super Mario World. I have lots of memories in Super Mario World, but also I really like Dino Crisis. I played that game a lot. This is okay. This one, Resident Evil Survivor. Have y'all heard of it? I mean, I think everyone has heard of Resident Evil, but there's a Resident Evil game called Resident Evil Survivor that came out for the PS1, and it was like rated one of the worst games of all time. But I think that it is good, and I have so many hours in it and have gotten every ending to it. It's like the weirdest story. It's like you're just like this FBI agent or something who is investigating Raccoon City, and then there's a plane crash, and you wake up and you don't remember who you are. And there's like, then you have to like just go through and like, oh, where am I? Blah, 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 blah. And then like everything that unfolds from that, like the story is so bizarre, but it's really, I really love it. I loved it. You should look it up. Resident Evil Survivor.
Okay, yeah. I like that. I also like the whole like, you know, people are like, oh, like this is the worst game ever, but like when you find your own thing that you enjoy, it's like, nah, like get on my level.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me write it down.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
I loved it. It's on so many lists of like just the worst, like one of the worst games ever. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I really liked that game when I was a kid. I mean, I still like it, so I guess.
Yeah.
But it's more nostalgia. Have you ever heard of like Tecmo's Deception?
I feel like I've heard of it. It sounds really familiar.
That is another like old school game from like the PlayStation 1 era that I have like a soft spot for in my heart. I play that game a lot too. It's like you're locked in this house that's haunted, and you're just like starting to court or date demons.
Oh.
It's yeah, it's really
it's
and vampires and demons. It's really weird.
Interesting. Yeah, they're just like, whoa, OMG. Yeah, I was gonna try to find some joke in there. I was like, ah, yes, that's how I'll finally find someone to date me. That's
yeah, it's bizarre.
I'm the
it's like you get locked in here and it's like suddenly you have to look it up. Tecmo's Deception, like TECMO and then like apostrophe deception. It's a really interesting game. I play a lot of weird games when I was younger, and I think that's because they were all in the bargain bin, and then that's what my mom could get for her. So I played a lot of those games that no one else played growing up.
I feel like that's kind of like a fun way to discover games, though, you know, like ones that not everyone necessarily knows about. And then when you're having conversations like about games, you can be like, oh, but here's this one, you probably don't know what it is, kind of thing. Like, and then you've got this, I don't know, like this special extra knowledge of games.
Yeah, and it's just like this little gem that is like really interesting and cool.
Yeah, I mean, those both sounded really interesting to me, so I wrote them down. I'm gonna look at them after stream.
Yay, I can't wait to let me know how you feel. Like watch a trailer for it or something.
Yeah.
I would love to know your thoughts.
I'll watch the trailer and I'll send you a message, let you know.
Okay.
I'm excited. Let me see. Let me just check the questions and everything. I feel like this is something that probably everybody has thought about a lot, but what do you miss most about the pre-pandemic life?
Dancing. I know I was saying to you earlier about how there's some things related to my stream that I want to set up, like get a green screen and dancing like area, and like being able to do VR dancing and stuff and share that with my community. But before the pandemic, I was going out. I would always go out every Friday night and on Saturday to this thing called Shadowland, which was like goth night, and like put on my like really like thick boots and on my chains and stuff and dance. And that was my exercise. Like I look forward to that, like to be able to go out and dance. And I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
I
was
can't wait.
actually getting ready to, because my roommate and I were both very well, former roommate from college, because we were at the end of senior year. We were getting ready, finishing up a lot of our big senior projects. Like I was in a play at school that I was finishing, and she was finishing her like senior recital. She's a music major. And we were like, all right, so after we're both done with this, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go dance, because we just wanted to go out. We wanted to go dancing. Like we wanted to go, it's like we didn't want to go like clubbing, we didn't want to go to like get like super drunk necessarily. Like we just wanted to go out to go dancing together and just have fun. And then right as everything was approaching that point, it was like pandemic. So
that sucks.
yeah,
Well, you'll get to do it soon.
yeah.
I think that's gonna be like the first thing, if cons don't happen or whatever, that I'm gonna like. I get my second shot on Mother's Day. But I'm going to go dance. I just miss it. Like I don't like to like get wasted or drunk. I just love to dance. And just be in that moment, and I miss that so much.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's just, there's something so freeing just getting to, you know, just getting to move and enjoy music. And I don't know, it's just, it's such a good, it can be such a good time. But I feel like yeah, that'll be such a good thing to get to do. Speaking of Mother's Day, I don't know if you, I know you mentioned like I saw it on Twitter, and you don't necessarily always talk about it, so I don't want to bring up your sweet angel if that's not something that you're.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, I think I'm a parent, and I don't talk about it a lot because people on the internet are can be kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And it's also like a consent thing, like sharing parts of like my daughter's life. That's not something that she's like, hey, yeah, do this. And so I like try to keep a lot of that sort of part of my life private. But yeah, I'm getting my second shot Mother's Day. And I was like, yay, that's great.
I do want to say she's such a sweet, beautiful human. I was going to comment that, and then I forgot. I was running around today, but I wanted to say that first. But also, how has it been navigating, I guess, being a parent and streaming and working and everything happening at home? Has that been an additional kind of challenge, and how have you kind of gone about doing that?
Yeah, it has. But also because, you know, streaming was something that I added to my already like busy schedule.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for me, and knowing how to prioritize is something that you learn. I mean, a lot of people should just learn that in general, but it's something that when you're having a job and, you know, you're a parent, like there's things that in your schedule that you have to do, you need to do. And then everything other around that comes second or third or wherever it is in your priority list. But those things that you cannot change really like ground me. So that's why I'm like very like schedule oriented, and it's easy for me to keep schedules and be on time because time is essential. Like time is everything. It's really easy for me to follow a schedule. So yeah, calendar invites are everything. Being able to like plan and talk. Like I think when we were planning this, I was like, all right, perfect. I'll put it in my calendar right now. And I'm here.
My planner over here.
I'm very punctual because, you know, that stuff, like I'm very flexible too, but when planning things, I always add room for flexibility.
Yeah.
Instead of not planning at all and just letting things just go into the wind. So
like, especially
I'm a very organized person.
Yeah, I feel like it's so easy to lose track of time being at home all the time now, because like I don't know, like I don't notice the passage of time necessarily sometimes because I'm in the same space all the time.
Yes.
And so hours will pass and I'm like, oh, it's dark now, you know? Like, so it's so important to keep that schedule, I think.
Do you take time to like get outside?
That's something that I was really good at the beginning of the pandemic, because I lived in a house out by my college before graduating, and I was in the suburbs, so I could go on walks a lot. And now I moved actually about a year now, I moved into the city, and that's something that I lost track of. I would sit in my apartment and had not left my apartment for a few days and not even think about it, just because I like didn't know what to do. And I didn't realize how much being outside and making time to be outside helped my mental health and just like helped clear my mind. You know, I'm an anxious overthinker, so getting outside and having some external stimuli to get me out of my head is so important.
Yeah. When I was like working from home and streaming and using my streaming space as like now my workspace, that was a really hard thing for me to adjust.
Yeah.
Because like mentally, like I would come back to my computer to like stream in the evenings. I'm just like, like I didn't want to be at my desk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's been hard is especially so when all of my classes went online, I was using my stream setup to do like classes, and it was so hard for me to mentally separate like fun gaming stream space from, all right, now I've got to sit and do work and I've got to pay attention to this lecture kind of thing.
Yeah. And then like you get in Zoom calls and then people are just like, wow, your camera's so nice, and like this, there's like your setup is so nice. And then it like gives that like look into like, I felt like my coworkers were like, why is this? Like they know that I streamed, but it was like now that they have more time, then they're getting interested in streaming themselves.
Yeah.
I felt like that was like a huge boundary that was crossed as far as like my personal life.
Yeah.
When the pandemic started, a lot of my friends and family and coworkers were suddenly like, oh, well, I want to stream too. Can you help me get set up? Can you help my setup? Like, and then, like, can we watch your stream? And then like,
yeah, and sometimes, yeah, I feel that I had, because when I created my stream, I created like a separate identity just because I didn't know how I was going to fit into the space, and it was like more of a safety thing for me. And so I kept that separate from like all of my other stuff. And I recently kind of merged them just because I study acting and I want to do acting, and both acting and streaming are kind of, I don't know, like content creaty, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
So I merged them. But the weirdest thing is now some people that I haven't talked to in a long time, like haven't talked to since like high school, you know, they'll come through and they hang out now, and I'm like, this is weird. Like I'm a different person than I was in that time in my life. And then it's like, do I have to change what I'm doing? But then it's like, no, like this is my space, and if you don't like it, you don't have to be here, kind of thing. And but yeah, navigating that kind of line can be so weird between like personal professional life and then streaming, you know. It can get tricky when things kind of start to overlap.
And then one day, one is going to like if you keep staying on this path and being like successful and like doing all these things, eventually everyone's gonna, in your personal life, is gonna be like, what? Like when I got sponsored by Intel, and then there's like, you would see my face in like ads and stuff, and then people were just like, oh wow, so Quin's really doing something over there. Like they didn't take it seriously, and I'm like, what do you thought I was doing? Like I like it crossed that medium. Like when you start to get more opportunities and grow, and you're in ads and stuff, and then your name is just kind of associated with with Twitch in your personal life. People are like, okay, I know this person who's on Twitch. Wow, we can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of those. It's interesting because I feel like people a lot of times will kind of write it off at first. They're like, they're just doing this thing,
and then playing video games.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, that must be so easy and fun for you, kind of thing, like that kind of thing. And then they see you actually like doing stuff and making moves, and they're like, wait a minute, like what is this? What? You know? And then yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. It's, I don't know, like a vindication, but also like it doesn't, they don't need to have to come to that moment, because at the end of the day, you know, you get to do what you love and you get to have fun while doing it. And like, it's like that moment, like a little moment of like, I'm actually doing stuff. You didn't believe me. Like, you know,
it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like this one little punch.
That little bit of like, you thought it wasn't that big a deal, but yeah. And yeah, it's fun too. So
yeah, absolutely. We got to do like a table read or something sometime.
Yeah.
What are like some good 2 people table reads that we can do?
Yeah, I'm actually, so I'm working on a side thing I had to put it on pause for a little bit because I got a little overwhelmed with other stuff, but I want to do a segment on my stream, maybe twice a month or every other month or once a month. I don't know exactly when, but like bringing together writers and actors, or, you know, people who are interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw you post about that. Yeah.
So I'd like to, because a lot of writers want to have actors read through their stuff or have people read through to hear it and like hear what it sounds like, you know, not just in their head kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of like actors and people who are interested in the entertainment industry just want to get to, you know, do stuff and play, you know, with stuff and with other people in that way, in like with material. So I'd like to bring that together, because then I feel like it's a good way to bring people together to hang out, but then also get to do something creative. So yeah, if I mean, I'm still working on it, but I would absolutely, I'll write you down so I can reach out to you and do more stuff with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
My cat is staring.
What's your kitty's name?
Her name is Maui. She's a sweet baby, but she's also a little bit of a diva. No idea where she gets it from. Yeah, she's an old child. I got her, I was in like 3rd grade, so she's like 14. She's probably about 14 now, so she's old, but she's still kicking it, still spicy, spitefully pooping places she shouldn't. Let me see, let me just double check to see if we have any additional questions. Guys, don't forget in chat that you can ask questions if you have anything else you'd like to know. Oh, what is something that never fails to make you smile or laugh?
We were talking about TikTok earlier and how I'm addicted to TikTok. I really like old people in TikTok. Not like to make fun of them or anything like that, but just I love seeing like old people like trying to do transitions and things like that on TikTok. Yeah. And then like and then they'll get like thousands and thousands of views, and the comments are just so wholesome, just like a bunch of like young people like, yes, go, like you're just having fun and being yourself. I love people just being themselves and having fun in that space. I am addicted. I am so addicted to that. It is, I always smile and love it. I love TikTok so much. I'm not good at creating content there, but I love to consume content there.
Yeah.
Older equals over 30 on TikTok? No, I'm talking like, you know, like grandparents on TikTok. That's what I like to watch. That really sounds so creepy.
I've seen some really cute stuff though, of grandparents on TikTok kind of thing. Like it's so precious because they're just having fun, you know, like they're having a good time. And like, that's what I want in life. Like I want to be that when I get older, just having fun like, and doing whatever.
And imagine like they're so comfortable with themselves. Like they don't care. And like being able to like see people just be so comfortable and have fun is a lot of people can't let loose like that.
Yeah.
And it takes you a long time. What I've realized, it takes a long time for folks to get to that point where they're just like, I don't care about anything. I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And I'm having a good time. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about elderly TikTok is seeing that energy. It like literally radiates through your phone when you're watching it. And it's just like, I can't help it smiling. Like, oh.
Like when you see the joy that they're experiencing, it's infectious.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that so much.
I like watching your grandpa.
All right, Willie, make it weird.
Willie said he knows too much about me. I think that's very true. We've been friends for a long time.
Elderly TikTok sounds adorable to say. It does sound adorable to say. Like it's elderly TikTok. Oh my God. What would you say are the most important parts of your identity?
Oh, okay. Yes. Just kidding. Right now, I am very adamant about being Black. I don't know if everyone noticed, but I'm Black. So, but also my queer identity, because I feel like in this space, being Black in this space is already something that like I'd love to advocate for, and Black Lives Matter. But also another layer of that is your queer identity, where you're kind of, I sometimes I just feel like really like I don't belong anywhere, where I find discrimination on all sides based on my queer identity. So I'm really, really heckin' loud about that on Twitter, and that's very important to me.
Yeah.
That's so important to me.
Oh my God. Snaps to that. I 100%. I 100%. And I appreciate and love how open you are about it, because I mean, even like personally, like just hearing someone who is so unafraid to be themselves, or very vocal about being themselves, like it's very inspiring to me personally, you know. And I can, speaking from personal experience, just to see that, one, like not being alone, it's being within the community is something that I'm still relatively new to, I guess. Like I identify as bi, and that's not something that I knew a while. I grew up in Texas, like, you know, very
Texas.
Yeah, so it was never a thing for me that I thought was a thing. But I think that, you know, grappling with that identity is so big, and just like the intersectionality between different parts of identity, and how they, you know, different things build on each other and add different levels of confusion, and not necessarily confusion, but like it can be a different kind of thing to deal with, you know, when you have to add, when not have to, but when you add on top of each other all the different parts of someone's identity. So I appreciate just I appreciate how honest you are and how open you are. It's comforting and it's inspiring to me. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I think that the more honest and open you are, the stronger it makes you. If you have nothing to hide, you're literally invincible.
True. Yeah.
That's how I look at it sometimes, especially in this space. I'm like, I can say whatever and how I truly feel. Not like, I guess that verbiage was just like, let me rewind. Let me play Life is Strange. So my nose is bleeding.
Oh
so just like, it's not easy, because it's not. It's hard to like be open and honest about how you feel, especially when you're like advocating for parts of your identity. But eventually you'll find people who support, and they're like, yes, and you can inspire others. There's a lot of people who don't ever get to that point. They like, there's so much. There's so much.
Yeah.
This would be like an awesome like podcast or something. This is an awesome podcast, but just like a panel or something where we talked about just being like people of color and coming from different and various backgrounds, and how our queer identities affect that, and especially in the streaming space.
Yeah.
It can also be kind of scary, because I feel like people will like piggyback on something that's trending, and like use content creators and things like that, because they feel like, oh, I want, like we were talking about this earlier, like, oh, let me bring this person on and like talk about their trauma or things like that. And that's really harmful. And I feel like I experienced a lot of that last summer. Right after George Floyd died, I was getting a lot of attention from people who never noticed me in this space before, even though the content and the things that I was talking about really didn't change, and it still hasn't. And it was wild, because I was able to like even get up to like partnership numbers, and I've applied for partnership like 7 times after that, and I still haven't gotten partnered, and my numbers have only just went back down to normal, what I was pulling before, because people will jump on a trend, especially things that are related to trauma and identity, and it's messed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, it's that sense of they want to feel like they're not personally responsible. It's that kind of like they want to be absolved of any guilt that they feel. And so it's like, oh, by supporting this person who
I have Black friends, I have queer friends, I have Asian friends, I have this, I have that, whatever is trending. I have these friends.
Yep. Yeah.
Go here, I'll tag them in this Twitter posts. It's like, tell me where all your Black and queer and gay and Asian friends are. Let's go. And it's just like engagement farming, and it's really disrespectful to our identities as a whole. And I don't care. People can mute me all they want on Twitter, retaliate me all they want, like, against me. I'm never going to stop talking about how messed up this space can be when they engagement farm on people's identities. It's really weird.
It's basically, yeah. I mean, and people do that to, at the end of the day, I feel like it's like to make themselves look better, to make themselves look like, hey, look at all these like people that I know that are not white, like, and they're not straight, like, and I'm like, okay, like, cool. Why aren't you boosting them every day? And why is it only when something goes wrong? You know, like, like, I think that's one of the other things is like, yeah, it's the tokenism of it, like what Willie was saying, the tokenism of like, what's the hot like other issue, what's the hot issue of either race or gender identity or what have you, and like they do it to sell, they do it to, you know, and it's unfortunate because it's like one of those where I'm like, yeah, like I want to see people of color and queer people being boosted, but not because they have to endure hate and shit and be scared for their lives. Like, that's not, I don't want that to be the reason why they get support and are boosted. Like, why aren't we doing this like normally, you know?
Absolutely.
It's just one of those that it's like, oh, I don't know, you know, obviously the answer is no racism and no like homophobia, transphobia, etc. But it's like, how do we get there? Because then you
get out of streamer Twitter.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh,
streamer Twitter is the worst place to. I honestly 1,000,000,000% believe that streamer Twitter is the worst place to have identity discussions online, and I've actively been trying to remove myself from there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of those that like it's hard. Like I get scared. Like I'm kind of like, I'm an anxious person, so I get kind of scared and intimidated by Twitter sometimes because of how easy it is for someone to lash out at you for you saying your own opinion, kind of thing.
Yep.
And that's why I typically haven't posted about that kind of stuff, because I'm like, I'm terrified. What if someone's like, oh, well, you're just Asian, it's not that, da, 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 da. And like people coming in, it's like someone will post their opinion or their experience and say like, this is my lived experience and this is what's, you know, difficult about it, trying to just say their own experience, and then someone's like, no, that's wrong. Like, how can their experience be like, that's what they lived, you know? And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Willie said it's where voices are loud and egos are thin. It's
Yep. Yepperonis.
Yeah.
Yepperonis.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I try to find like, I don't know. I follow like wholesome content, like wholesome memes or whatever, like accounts on Twitter, because I'm like, I need that to like break up my feed sometimes, because I just, sometimes it's too much overall.
Yeah.
People trying to like make a hot take, and it's just like, okay.
Like I said yesterday, like, why have hot takes when we can have hot cakes?
I love that.
Like,
yeah.
That's how I feel.
100%. I would much rather hot cakes than all the hot takes out there.
I like hot cakes. Like pancakes.
Yeah.
Good.
I saw actually, I saw a TikTok that's taking like a cinnamon roll that you put in the oven, you know, like the, I don't know what they're called. I can't remember the brand now, but basically you take it, you kind of unroll it a little bit, and then you pour pancake mix around it, and you make like a cinnamon roll pancake. And
sounds amazing.
I've been thinking about that ever since, because then you put the cinnamon roll icing on top, and you've got a cinnamon roll and a pancake in one, and that just sounds like,
that sounds so good. New Jersey, we in here. What?
Yeah, Jersey, I guess.
Yeah, New Jersey, where y'all don't pump y'all gas.
Yeah. It's just that's such a random thing to me. Sorry. Swan the Kraken is also from Jersey. I have two of my mods are from Jersey. I don't know how it happened. I guess somehow Jersey people end up in my channel.
It's like you're West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So you're in Cali, so yeah, like you're PST. I'm EST. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. A lot of my friends are I guess EST. I mean, that's one of the things that's also been weird about when I started making friends through streaming and stuff. Time zones. One of my friends is from Scotland, so it's like how do we hang out in a time zone that's gonna actually work?
I always think like around 5:30 and whatnot on PST, people are eating dinner and stuff. So like over here around 5:30 your time, it's 8:30, so people are getting on the internet after dinner, like right before bed. So that's probably why you pick up like a bunch of that East Coast audience.
Yeah.
Yo, but I have a lot of friends on the West Coast who only like go live at like 10 o'clock their time, and I'm like, that's like I'm in bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if it's not the weekend, I am sleeping.
Yeah. I try to do like 5 p.m. my time because I feel like it's a good time. Like most people are either out of work or getting out of work here, and then East Coast, what is that? 3 hours? So like 8?
Yeah.
Like you've got like a few hours before it gets late, kind of thing. Like
Yeah. So you get to hang out and stuff.
yeah. Part of me wants to be a morning streamer and wake up earlier, but I don't like mornings. So
Oh, I love streaming during the day. That's my favorite thing. Like it is so chill to stream during the mornings.
oh yeah.
It's
Like,
so cool.
I want to be a person that wakes up earlier and is like because I love there's something about the morning time that's so peaceful that I don't normally get because I wake up too late kind of thing. And like I wish. I mean, I know that I just have to like go to bed earlier, but
But also like because you're on the West Coast, it's like even 5:30, right? You're catching all these nighttime crews. You're
yeah.
catching that wild energy, people having wine and getting on the internet and
Yeah.
acting up. Like when you come online at like 5:30 your time. So yeah.
I wish I could day stream my brain. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, Willie, it's late for you, isn't it? Like real
It's
late.
like early
Or
morning
yeah.
probably.
We've entered into early morning territory. Oh my
Sunday
gosh.
morning, rain is falling.
Oh my gosh. Let me just double check if there are any 340. Dang. Okay, I don't see any additional questions right now. I don't want to keep you too late because I do know that you are
Yep.
in a little bit of a later time zone and I don't want to take up your whole
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was so good.
Thank you. Yeah, this is
adore
so
you.
fun.
Like it was, I don't know. You just have such a unapologetically you personality and just a radiant presence. And I just really, I don't know. It's just really nice. Like you have a very comforting presence
Thank you.
too. Like I just enjoy getting to, hang out, talk nonsense, and I don't know, talk about everything. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and I don't know, taking the time to hang out. And
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
yeah,
This is really fun. I'm so excited
I'm
that we
looking
got to do
forward
this.
to getting to hopefully do more stuff in the future because, I enjoy your company and would love to just kind of hang out, play games or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
my former roommate, my best friend's in chat. She said, "I agree. This has been so awesome." But yeah, you're super cool, and
It's
I
so
appreciate
nice to
you.
meet y'all. Yeah.
While we're I guess wrapping up, if there's anything that you would like to promote or anything, you can do that. I've got your link in chat, so if people do !guest, it'll link to your Twitch channel. But if there's anything else you'd like to promote, you can go ahead and do that.
Not really. I guess next week on May the 4th, I'm gonna be doing a 12-hour stream for charity, playing all Star Wars games. That's cool. It's gonna be for starlight.org, and basically they make gaming consoles for children's hospitals that have Nintendo Switch in them. So they're partnered with Nintendo. So I'm gonna be doing a charity stream for them on May the 4th
Oh, that's
on my
awesome.
channel. So 12-hour stream
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll have to stop by. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I love it. Guys, thank you for hanging out again. This is ctrlaltquin, amazing human. If you have not already gone and followed, go drop a follow. The link is in chat. go show some support. Yeah. All right. I'm going to transition us off so I can say goodbye to our wonderful guest.
All right, perfect.
Let me just make sure I've got it all set up. All right, there we go. All right, guys, everybody say goodbye to our wonderful guest.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys. I'll be back in a minute, but